Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're staring at a classroom full of students, or maybe a screen completely full of digital faces, and you're just wondering, how on earth do I get them speaking English confidently? Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're mastering English communication. We're going on a really fascinating journey, starting from the calm, professional vibe of formal self-introductions all the way into the super cheerful, high-energy world of interactive classroom games. We've got a ton of fantastic source material to unpack, so let's just jump right in. So, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll go over a structured self-introduction guide. Number 2, school life and routines. 3, discussing hobbies and interests. And finally, we'll wrap up with active interaction through games. All right, Section 1, the structured self-introduction guide. Introducing yourself in a brand new language can honestly be pretty terrifying. But giving students a structured professional framework completely takes that anxiety away. It really boils down to 3 simple, systematic steps: the opening, the content, and the closing. By giving students this exact formula, they don't have to waste precious mental energy panicking about what to say next, right? They can just focus on how they're saying it. Start with a simple greeting, move right into personal details, and then politely say thank you to close it out. It's structured, it's systematic, and honestly, it works perfectly every single time. Zooming in on step 2, the content, we really want to keep it punchy and easy to digest. The essential personal identity details are just your full name, your nickname, your origin, like I'm from Indonesia, your age, and your family background. Having these core elements memorized builds immediate confidence, whether a student is formally introducing themselves to a teacher or just casually chatting with a peer. To put that into perspective, think about a natural exchange about family. In our example dialogue, Laura mentions there are 4 people in her family, while Tom says there are 5. And they even get into who does which household chores. Tom sweeps the floor because it's quick, and his sister sets the table. It takes that basic family background bullet point and turns it into a rich, totally relatable conversation. Moving on to Section 2, school life and routines. Here, we're diving into the daily realities and schedules of students. Being able to describe a daily schedule is just a fundamental language skill. Take Tom's typical routine, for instance. He wakes up at 7 a.m., takes the bus to school, talks with friends during break time, and hits up the football club after school. By visualizing a timetable like this, students can easily map their own lives right onto the structure. They learn the vocabulary for time, transportation, and daily activities in a way that is incredibly practical.
But hey, we don't just want robots reciting schedules, do we? We want real communication. When someone asks, "What's your favorite subject?" the answer shouldn't just be math. It should be, "I like math because it's fun." Getting students to attach simple reasons to their likes and dislikes literally transforms the depth of the conversation. It naturally invites follow-up questions and genuine human connection.
And this applies perfectly to more complex topics too, like discussing new school rules. Imagine students talking about strict new dress codes, like no more ripped jeans allowed, and making the jump from traditional books to using tablets. This is their everyday reality. Giving students the vocabulary to talk about rules, changes, and their feelings about those changes makes the language feel incredibly relevant to their actual lives. Let's jump to Section 3, discussing hobbies and interests. We're pivoting now from structured school obligations to personal passions, which adds a much more individualized touch to the practice. There's such an incredible variety in what students are passionate about. Our examples show David talking about how his family bonds over weekend hiking and movie nights. We've got Noah volunteering at an animal shelter to organize adoption drives, and Sophie helping children with disabilities. Whether a student is obsessed with video games, sci-fi movies, or community service, their personal interests are absolutely the best fuel for learning English. When students talk about what they love, they naturally just want to speak more. And exactly like we saw with school subjects, explaining the why is everything. Why do you like that club? Well, because you enjoy the teamwork. Why that specific movie? Oh, because of the immersive visuals. Why volunteer? Because it's super rewarding to help kids learn. Expanding on the emotional reasons behind their hobbies makes these interactions deeply engaging, completely moving students past basic vocabulary and into real expressive fluency. All right, Section 4, active interaction through games. Get ready for a hard pivot. We are leaving the formal, professional structures behind and stepping into a highly energetic, cheerful vibe. The pressure is completely off. The core philosophy behind these games is incredibly simple. We want to move from TTT, teacher talking time, over to STT, student talking time. The ultimate goal of every single icebreaker and game we're about to look at is to drastically reduce the time the teacher spends lecturing and maximize the time the students spend actually speaking. We literally want STT to go through the roof.
So how exactly do we make that happen? First up is a classic, the hot seat. The rules are ultra simple, which is key so we don't waste precious time explaining instructions. One student sits facing the class with their back to the board. A word is written up there, let's say pineapple, and the rest of the class just starts shouting out descriptions in English until the student guesses it. It forces rapid, spontaneous vocabulary use. And because it's a fun game, that fear of making a mistake just completely vanishes. Visual cues can also drive some seriously amazing interaction. Take the roll the die game. A student rolls a die covered in different emojis, and they have to say their target word or sentence based on whatever emoji they land on. Did they roll the turtle? Okay, they have to speak incredibly slowly. The angry face? They say it as angrily as possible. Using simple, visually engaging emojis instantly tells students how to act, which makes pronunciation practice absolutely hilarious and totally memorable. Let's look at another favorite, Would You Rather. Think about this one for a second. Would you rather speak all languages fluently or be able to speak to animals? This is the perfect open-ended question. There is no right or wrong answer, it's inherently fun, and it sparks immediate low-stakes interaction. You can throw this out to an entire room or pair students up, and I guarantee everyone will have an opinion they want to share. A really crucial point for us to highlight today is that these games are entirely adaptable. Whether you're physically rearranging desks in a classroom or staring at a grid of webcams online, these vibrant activities just work. You can use chat boxes for guessing games, digital dice rollers for the emojis, and virtual breakout rooms for those pair interviews. The technology might change, sure, but the core strategy of boosting student engagement remains exactly the same. Let's bring it all together with this really powerful quote from our source material. Icebreakers build confidence and trust, allowing students to see the classroom as a safe space for practicing English. Honestly, that summarizes our entire journey today. The calm, structured frameworks we started with give students the necessary tools. But it's these colorful, highly active interactions that give them the trust and confidence to actually use those tools without fear. And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. Armed with structured templates, clear routines, and vibrant games, the power to create a truly engaging learning environment is entirely in your hands. So, how will you break the ice and introduce yourself in your next English class? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.